Imagine all you just have to do every day is to wake up and survive. The family structure would have been the easiest way to make the world a better place, but it is under attack. You can't treat what God created alongside you terribly and want to have a good relationship with God.
So tell us about life. Tell us about family, your parents. Talk to us.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
For me, it's been a very beautiful ride as a human. I grew up with my grandmom. I want to say I'm a product of a broken home. Basically, I'm one of those children that had life the hard way. I didn't really have that opportunity to enjoy the family structure as it is, as it's supposed to be, or as it was meant to be.
It's about to go down.
Be a human. Practice humanitarian traits, love, kindness. These are the things that matters, not necessarily the umbrella at which you get to God.
Sure.
People tend to, especially in this part of the world, people tend to overlook the real thing. Are you a good person? You cannot hide under the guise of Christianity and perpetrate evil and say you are covered by grace. Then you look at somebody that's probably on their own trace, on their own path, trying to maybe just seek protection for their family, their children, and prosperity for their business. Probably you saw somebody putting a calabash of eggs and one or two things in a junction, and you start praying, scattering everywhere, Holy Ghost fire, this, that. No, it is all, we are all doing the same thing. You said you took 500 and put it in your hand and go to the altar your pastor made with cement and block, and you also knelt down there and you also prayed. This is same. It's called offering. The English word is offering. You offered, that person went to offer. What matters is, what is your intention? You can't climb the altar as a deacon on a Sunday service and probably you give an announcement or you make one church this thing. Then by 4 o'clock, you are heading a gang of kidnappers to go and collect ransom. You say because you are a deacon, you are now better than the person that went to tradition, that did this traditional whatever. It's all the broadband that you connect to through the network provider. You get me? So I don't fall for that. I'm a Christian. One of the reasons why I love Christianity is because it is like the easiest, simplest, and cleanest way to understand how God works and how life works. Sometimes people will say, the whole stress of blood sacrifice, physical sacrifice, and all of that. When you look at Christianity is supposed to be like the way you put people together, the community concept. I better your life, you better my life. But these days it's no longer like that. And if care is not taken, it's on a decline because more people are waking up every day. More people are seeing things now from different perspectives. And you see these days there's an attack. Even within the Christendom, one person is attacking the other one. And people are complaining and saying, how come? Why are you people trying to? No. Even Christianity that you are practicing today is something that thrived on demarketing. Yes. Christianity it thrives on demarketing. What am I trying to say? Before your forefathers, your ancestors, were able to let go of their ways and their practices, it was demarketed. This is not the right way. This is dirty. This is fetish. But today, we have been able to see a whole lot of these practices that have been rebranded into technology. For example, somebody comes to see a diviner and he posts and he does his abracadabra and all of that, and say, okay, somebody is pursuing you here. Somebody will look for you here. Now, 2025, fast forward, you fix a CCTV camera in your house, one here, one outside, one back of the door, and there's a screen monitoring your CCTV and the movement in your house. If we have to be truthful with ourselves, there's no difference between the diviner and the concept of the CCTV camera. The aim is, I want to know what is happening around me. That is the core point of the both. You applying the CCTV camera and somebody going to meet a diviner for divination to know is there anybody after me? Even those days to solve crimes, it was still the same process you use. These days,
Yeah.
if you own a shop and somebody robs you, you fall back
Look
to your
at your
CCTV camera.
CCTV. True.
I believe I might be wrong, but I believe the concept of protecting oneself against harm, it was an African thing before bulletproofs were made. People were already protecting themselves. At least there were stories of the 1897 invasion,
Yeah.
where they shot at some Benin chiefs and Benin warriors, and the bullet didn't get in. But today we have bulletproof vests, bulletproof cars. Even top religious people use bulletproof cars.
True.
There was even an instance of one that uh, um, was working with his entourage, and he was seriously attacked. The rest members of the entourage were blown away, but him that was inside the bulletproof car, nothing happened to him. They will still look for a way to push it to God. God protected
God's
me. But
grace.
if that bulletproof car was not there, what would have been the issue? So for me, I just feel we complicate this whole thing with I'm doing better, you are doing better. It should be more of humanity. It should be more of, are you a good person? What side are you on? Are you positive or you are negative?
Yeah.
It is you. It is you. You shouldn't keep grudges in your mind and go and stay in the mountain and be praying and be disturbing God. You shouldn't hate your neighbor. You shouldn't hate humanity. You shouldn't sit down, you don't contribute anything to humanity, then you are asking God for blessings. You shouldn't carry a manner of hate and grudge. These things are so simple. It's just give and take. There are laws that govern the universe. The laws of sowing and
And
reaping. You don't
reaping.
need to pray. You don't need to go to anywhere to pray. You put cassava stem down on the ground and add water and nurture it. In a month or so, you start seeing the results. It's just the same thing. So, but we just have to complicate these things with I'm the best. No, we can always know how to tolerate ourselves. Let everybody do what they have to do. It is a personal relationship between them and the maker. I think at the end of it all, you are accountable to your maker. Don't you think so?
I think so. I absolutely think so. The matter of religion is one that is always very, very controversial.
Very dicey.
People would say, "Oh, my pastor said this, and so I cannot do that." And I absolutely agree with everything that you've said, truly, because if you start to look at it from a logical standpoint, I see no reason why a person should not be able to talk to God themselves. I see no reason why one would have to depend on a middleman to talk to God. And then you said something about that whole incident, the whole bulletproof incident, and the person coming out to say, "Oh, God protected me, God saved me." It also reminds me of some things that people do too. So, for example,
Sorry to cut you the question.
okay,
For example, now you are trying to tell us that God is biased.
yeah,
If God didn't save the
he's
ones in
killing.
the other car, and he saved only you, that means God is biased. You are God's
True.
favorite child. And from what I know so well, that we humans are all equal.
Equal.
It's just like sometimes I want to agree with the concept of we are all gods. Funny enough, it's in the Bible, ye are gods.
Yeah.
And for the fact that God is omnipresent, sometimes when you think about it, how come God is omnipresent? Is he that he is everywhere? When you look at the things that are everywhere, it's humans.
True.
So if God is omnipresent, it means that we are the gods that are present everywhere. So if you try to now look at it, say, God saved me, didn't save, that means there's a favorite human, and it annuls the whole concept entirely of creation. There's no
True.
favorite human. We're
There
all top
isn't.
humans. It's just what we are exposed to, what we get to know, and how well we get to build our consciousness level, to attack life that differentiates us.
True. True.
I caught you.
It did, but it's no problem at all. So now I was just talking about how, sometimes people have, some kind of sicknesses. They go into the hospital. I agree that there are some miraculous exceptions, of course. But, people have sicknesses. They go into the hospital, get treated by a doctor, and then do not make reference to the fact that they were in a hospital at all. They come into the altar and make a testimony. I was at home one day and God miraculously healed me. I've seen so many instances like that. Nobody these days, we are practicing a kind of Christianity that makes us want to underestimate the power of humans in our lives,
Yeah.
you know? Try to underestimate the power of humans and try to make it seem like, oh, everything is supernatural, supernatural. There are people who would not work hard and pray to God for money from morning till night. There are people who would neglect their jobs and their duties and pray to God from morning till night, expecting to be miraculously
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Dangote or like a Taylor. So what I see from all of this is that Christianity needs to be refined. It's a beautiful religion, as you said, but it needs to be refined. We
Yeah.
as Christians need to know where to draw the line. That's what I see
Uh,
in all of this.
it's true.
So
It's true. It
yeah.
has to. It has to be refined. It has to be worked on. In
Hmm.
fact, everything, even the ones we left, the traditional practices that our forefathers or our ancestors, were in some cases forced to leave
Yeah.
or deliberately left. You should try to like understand everything, refine everything. I don't believe in casting something out totally. It's a template, just like when you come in as a government official, you come in and you realize that, okay, the past government has laid a foundation. It would be unwise of you to just throw the whole project away. You should
True.
build on it. What
Oh
was the
yeah.
positives out of it? What are the negatives? Okay, times have changed. We move forward. Just like I told you just now, the people that don't even have an idea of how this whole traditional practices, some of these things that our ancestors used to do, they saw it and they came in and went to refine and, you know, rebrand all these things and start selling
Right.
it to us. You know,
I
a
see
lot of
your
persons might
point.
not agree, but mobile phones, the concept of mobile phones and the concept of calling people to know how they are or to reach out to them have been in existence even in this part of the world before now. So I just have I feel this should be refined, and realigned. Anything that has
Mm.
to do with people should be people oriented, especially our Christianity.
Right.
It's people oriented. It should be people oriented. We shouldn't uh, gather people for a purpose. Then the people that are in that purpose are not getting the benefits.
True.
For example, I went to my village the last time and I saw a very popular church. I won't mention the name of the church. Very popular, and members closed, and we were walking home in crowd. Some are trekking and all of that. I just told my friend in the car, like, do you know that the branch where these people are coming out from now, there is somebody in this place here that doesn't have what they will eat this afternoon. Somebody in this place that's owing house rent. But do you know that this branch is going to gather all the proceeds from this service and send an agreed percentage to the headquarters? How does it make sense?
Mm.
That in a congregation, somebody is likely hungry, somebody is likely depressed, needing money or needing direction on something to do, how to solve a particular problem, because our problems are earthly.
True.
That's why some people always agree that money can solve a whole lot of their problems. Then you carry the same people, the little you picked from them, you gather it and you send it to what end? Can't even the same headquarter you are sending this money to made their own billions at their own level,
Right.
that same service. Why can't you people look inward and say this money solve problems within the regional parish or the local parish?
Right.
Why is the money being sent to headquarters? How much of human capital development is the church involved in? I've always asked myself, I feel we are not creative enough. I feel we can be a bit more creative with this whole serving God thing as humans, especially when our needs are earthly. Why can't the church put members in groups just the way we do house fellowships? Put members in group. Share acres for members 10-10. Let's have an agricultural scheme.
That's
10
smart.
10 members come together, farm for a season. 20% of this proceeds from the farm goes to the church bank. The other ones, you in that group of 10, you share it within yourself. At least you have provided food within yourself as Christians, as church members. The other one in the food bank, those that can be reached will be reached. These are creative ventures that we can work on. These are things that can also be done. Not every time you need something, you are being directed to go spiritual. So all of these things should be looked at, and we should remove this whole business concept.
Mentality.
Somebody builds a church, and the next thing you are thinking of how to hand it over to your son. Are you telling me that the same calling that your son had is the same calling that you have? It's the same agreement you had with God? Is it the same?
No.
There's a whole lot of things needs to be refined, and like a couple of persons we say, if we have a working system, a whole lot of prayers will not need. We don't need to pray a whole lot of prayers.
True.
Yeah.
True. The people who go abroad and then they come and say,
Yeah,
when I
you go.
was abroad, I don't pray as much as I used to pray in Nigeria.
Tell you that some
So,
of the things we pray about here are basic now. Some of the things we
mm-hmm.
pray about are just basic things. Some of the
Food,
things we pray
water.
about is what. And one thing we need to understand as humans is that God have put us here as God to control what He has created. And He has expected us to also work with Him to advance humanity. That's why you see people come up with beautiful ideas to remove babies from women's womb.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to scream and shout
Yeah.
and push. A little slit here and there. It was a knowledge that was passed on from God
True.
to man. God saw that women back in the days involved in a whole lot of hard work, it was easier for them to just push these kids out. But these days, the more the comfort, the more it becomes lesser and easier. The wisdom had to go to somebody on how to bring out babies through cesarean section. But you see here, a woman is in labor and baby is not forthcoming. You see a religious leader is telling the person, not don't
Don't
don't allow them to
slice
slice you. You are a Hebrew woman. What is the business with an Enugu person and Hebrew and being Hebrew? You don't. These things are supposed to be wisdom now. These are supposed to be common knowledge. You
Yeah.
understand the things that these women used to do. Even right now, in present day 2024, people still give birth like that. But check the lifestyle. These women are do hard labor, hawk. They give birth like that because why? These exercises has a way of making it easier for you on the long run. If I am a working class from AC car to AC office and all of that, less exercise, you should expect to give birth by cesarean section. It's common knowledge, common wisdom. But we try to like spiritualize everything, and God put humans here to give ideas for things that we need to live this life better. So we also need to also look at things from this angle, not just try to spiritualize everything at every single time.
You've said a lot of, really, really, really important words. So I'm gonna want us to circle back to the thing you said about academics. You said something about the academic system, and now you're given the opportunity to actually raise kids. If you had the opportunity to change things, overhaul the system, what would you do better?
Like I said, I feel firstly the calendars are too much.
Mm,
The calendars is too long. Yeah. The areas of there are things as a human being and you just come across them in life on the long run. Just like I start learning state and capital in primary one. God knows if I am 15 years old and I start to travel, I will know state and capital. At
right.
that primary one, I don't really have business with state and capital because I am not even traveling yet. When I want to travel, I will know the capitals of the places I went to. Imagine spending a whole lot of time learning state and capital, learning about animals that you will on the long run know about. So my point is this: the whole timing of it all and the whole unnecessary things that we learn. When you come to the real world where everything happens, where everything you need to use money to answer everything, then it now becomes what is your value?
Right.
And blah, you are bringing in formulas. You're learning formulas, you're learning, all the Archimedes principles that are probably 150 years old, you know. Okay, the real world now, what can you do for us now? They put you in a factory, you can't even make a plastic cup. But I bet you me, this cup while we are watching here, while I'm holding here now, to make this cup, the dullest human being, if you put him in a factory where everything is available and you give him instruction in a week, he should be able to give you these cups. And
Yeah.
if I am surviving on producing this cup, then I have value. As much as people are drinking something, they must buy from me. That is what I feel people should, more of the energy should go in. After probably just learning how to read, write, understand how everything works and all of
Mm-hmm.
that, the more energy should now be moved into creating value as a
Value
human being.
creation.
What is your value? No human being will use 3 years to learn how to make juice from the lowest level, which is planting of fruits,
Yeah.
to harvesting fruits, to selecting fruit, to processing it, to packaging and marketing. The average human being cannot learn that in 3 years, cannot learn that in less than three, like 3 years maximum, they have learned it.
Granted.
But you see us being in school for 4 years learning French. Imagine somebody getting an admission to study French in Nigeria. As in Nigeria,
But
what's your business with French language?
I think that some of these things get to be important. As you said, value, right? I think that some of these things get to be popular in each space. So for
But on the
example,
long run, sorry to cut you.
mm,
The thing is that I know that most times people try to, like, show out the positives in these things. Yeah, when you study French, you can work in the embassy. When you get to the, but we should concentrate more of our energy on surviving
in Nigeria,
here now in Nigeria. How will French survive you here in Nigeria? How many persons can get jobs by studying French now as it stands in Nigeria? What are the options for work? And I bet you right now there are about 10,000 students studying French across the country. So I'm more of like, give value, understand that society is a give and take society. Society is give, take.
give and take.
I give you value, you give me money. I have to be giving something to. So what people need is what I should do. Every
Right.
woman must make her hair. Okay. I'm one of the best stylists in town. Meaning, as far as women keep making their hair,
You
how you
keep
make
making
money.
money.
Everybody must eat. As far as I create a channel to bring in food and sell, I must eat. People must eat. That's more of the thing. That's why you talk about productivity, a productive, system, having people that are productive. So it's more of like that. It's more of what you can do.
Yeah.
That's why you see people go to the university, and after they leave university, they now start building value. Meaning the 4 years or the 5 years you spent in university, you didn't really get to learn any valuable thing that could survive you in the real world. You now got to the real world and you now discover that having a BSc in business administration cannot really do much.
Yeah.
But knowing how to pump tires will give you daily money on a steady basis. So it's more of like understanding the system and surviving as it is right now, living with it as it is right now. Because I feel most of these curriculums are very old. They shouldn't be applicable in today's world. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They should be reshuffled and you know. But if, as usual, the government does not want to do what they need to do, because already sometimes it feels like these guys just don't want to do these things. Or
Right.
sometimes these things are deliberate. For example, you see that there's no history in the
In our
in
curriculum.
our curriculum. Like, how are we not having history in our curriculum when you understand that the past is how we got to the present,
True.
and the present is what will lead us to the future? Why don't you want people to know about the past? There are a whole lot of things you will know, and life will be a bit more easier for you. Even in your little family history, many people don't even have an idea of how the family What is the history of their family? Don't talk of
Right.
what is the history of Nigeria. Don't talk of what. It's crazy. So for me, it's more of value. If agriculture faculty is really productive, we will not have farming in this country. Only the
True.
agriculture faculty in all the federal universities in this country. Only the agriculture faculty. If they really produce food, like they really do agriculture, not theory agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
practical
Practical.
agriculture, there will be a whole lot of food everywhere. The other day we were traveling and the University of Benin were rioting because BEDC cut their light off. This is a school that has electrical electronics department, faculty of engineering. You are telling me that you can't put 10 students and pick two students per level, 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, and sponsor them on a research to create solar that can power the whole of Uniben. Then, if that is not the case, why are these guys in school? Why are they being locked up in the classroom for 5, 6 years? So, when you understand all these things, you know that sometimes the system is just set up for you to fail. They don't really want you to prosper. You get so
True.
it's looking more like that. I mean, I just feel it should be more of value. Today's world, technology, how are we surviving today? Using today's template to survive today, not using 10 years or 100 years ago template to try and survive in today's world. It's a different ballgame entirely.
Now that you put it that way, I think I sort of understand it from your perspective. As we are circling back, you said something about the kind of family you grew up in, how you had to live on a survival mode basis every blessed day, and how now you are a father raising two kids. So tell me, if you were to create an ideal family for anybody, any child, what do you think that family would consist of? What are the values you think that family would promote? And what are the things that you think are currently attacking our family system here in Africa and in the world in general?
Family is the most important, unit that God, created to probably keep the world together. Family is just the way God intends to translate and transcend humans from generation to generation. You know, the process of the father and the mother coming together, to raise a kid, and these kids learn from their father and learn from their mother. From when I started raising children, I discovered that these kids learn from observation. And sometimes, if you want to actually just be a good father and you want to actually, pass on the legacy or really want to make the society better, like I said earlier, one of the easiest ways to do that is by raising good kids. You understand? It's not an easy task, but it is more of like just you being you, being a
Mm.
good person. These guys learn by observation. These little kids learn by observation, and it's more of a commitment thing. At some point when you get married, it's now about the family. Unlike the Western world portrayed to us, we from the little I know, we had a family unit in Africa. It's a bit different from what family means to the Western world. You get family is empire, family is legacy, family is structure. So okay, this is my father. My father have this amount of land. My father had this land. He got married to my mother. My mother gave birth to us, and in turn, we have to cultivate this land for this land to produce for us to survive. So, when you look at it from this, angle, you discover that family was just a way to come together, help yourselves, build a very strong system, and it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keep going. So we had it this way until the influx of a whole lot of the Western media, and when you don't have a mind of your own, you want to copy everything that you watch, everything that you see. Now people see marriage as personal gains. For me, I feel a whole lot of people get into marriage, and they start trying to win the hearts of the children, to say daddy is the best, mommy is the best, or your daddy has, or for example, we see um relationship between a father and a mother breaks down because of their personal issue, or most of the time it's transmitting to the kids, because one wants to let the kids know that one was bad, one was good, and all of these things. These things, I feel, attacked our family system. And you see, we having broken homes today, it's something that has been experimented in the Western world. These guys, it has been obvious with the amount of results that have been gotten over time, that they lost touch with that family structure, single mother, single parenting, and you see a whole lot of kids on the street, in the ghetto, especially black kids and all of that. So this whole split, this whole attack, or this whole marriage is not working, will always reflect on the kids, and it always makes the whole thing up. So for me, I feel the family structure would have been the easiest way to make the world a better place, but it is under attack.
It's about to go down.